Good morning, everyone. It is Tristan, folks, and today, just like how the first ever race vlog began in this house earlier this year, minus I'm outside, if you couldn't tell by the background noise already, myself and the fam will be heading out to the Coke Zero Sugar 400. It has been crazy how much the channel has grown, and we have a lot of special things and segments planned throughout the entirety of the pre-race. This will include a Ross Chastain appearance, a topic on the state of this race and a collab, our traditional 3 pre-race objectives, as well as our fantasy picks. But first, we'll begin with painting the picture with the playoff picture, as this is the final race of the regular season. Currently, we have 14 drivers locked in, with the back-to-back Daytona 500 winner William Byron securing the regular season championship, and he'll likely be the #1 seed, but it's going to depend on what penalty the 24 team ends up getting from NASCAR during the midweek coming up, after his crew chief was suspended for an unapproved adjustment this weekend, and he'll be starting at the rear as well as making a mandatory pass-through penalty today. A win for Hamlin or Larson could be the make or break for the 24 seeding after that, and obviously we could see any of these other drivers with wins return the victory lane again today, but we do need to talk about the cut line, because if you don't have a win, your championship hopes could come to an end without one tonight. Currently, the 2 drivers in on points right now includes Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman. Currently, we see Reddick above the cut line by 89 points, but he is only 29 points ahead of Alex Bowman, who is a full race win as stage wins ahead of Chris Buescher, who is the first driver out by 60 points. We'll have to keep an eye if Reddick notably has an issue, who does start deep in the field due to the metric, which they did not qualify yesterday due to lightning. And he starts far back after being wrecked by Daniel Suarez at Richmond last weekend, which sets up his starting position, while Bowman ran great at Richmond and he'll start on the front row. Essentially, if you're outside of the playoffs right now, you are required to win, which is any of these drivers ranked 17th all the way to 36th. We saw it happen last year with Harrison Burton, and that would only mean one driver can get in on points, which would be between Bowman and Reddick, meaning last year's regular season champion and championship 4 driver may not even make it this year. If the results were based off the starting lineup and we had a new winner and we include all those stage points, it'd be Bowman getting in on points right now. It is Daytona, so obviously just expect tons of movement. Before we head out, we're going to do our 3 pre-race objectives that we did not do at the start of the year, but it is now a tradition. And the first one will be to head to Krispy Kreme in Daytona Beach. This is something we like to do back in the day, and it's an awesome classic location, International Speedway Boulevard. I just wanted to relive that while also just showing it off, with our second objective being checking out William Byron's new plaque for his Daytona 500 win earlier this year down the Daytona 500 Walk of Fame. And our final objective is very simple, and that is signing the start-finish line. It's going to be a fun day, but a long day too, so we are going to head out shortly, and if I don't show you some dogs, we'll see you at Krispy Kreme. Bodie. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to Daytona Beach, and we've made it to the Krispy Kreme, our first pre-race objective of the day. So you already know, let's go right on in. It is packed. Oh, say hi, everybody.
Hey, Krispy Kreme time.
Same crew as the last Daytona 500. And our best friend. Alright, people, we got 2 classic glaze. We got a chocolate ice sprinkle. I even got a Ravenclaw one. Just like how we were in the Ministry Magic. If you haven't seen my last vlog at Universal, go check it out. We got another chocolate, and then we got a chocolate filled. I lied to y'all. Maybe I am a Ravenclaw after all. Alright. Let's see it. It's this one. That's the new one. How big's my foot? Ah, we're kind of the same foot size. How big's our hand? His hand's a little bigger.
Literally, Tristan could have done those same imprints.
Let's see. This one definitely looks better than the other. That's honestly because this is a year old, but
yeah.
I gotta make my presence known. This doesn't count as the official one, but we gotta do it.
To begin the season. For more details, call 1-800-PITCH.
Notably right there, that is that new flap. I don't want to call it a roof flap because that's not on the roof, but we're gonna see what this thing does tonight if it has to come to use. Touching this right here is a no-no. We're gonna make it. Never seen somebody run for a NASCAR cover.
NASCAR 25 cover reveal.
I made it.
Who's on the front cover?
The worst hidden secret.
Look at that!
Done.
Will go green. That is a look at today's schedule as we get ready. We welcome you through the gate. We hope you have a great day. Like you're part of something big.
500.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Wow, look at you. I don't want champagne right now. We got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. We can't be popping champagne at 3 p.m. y'all. I apologize. But what we can do is we can get a Star Wars Coke Zero and match the race theme. Haven't we always been 411? I don't remember.
Got it? That's what we do. We did our last build out. We have
Alright, so that's the track. We're going to grab up some food, see what's around, and then we got Chastain coming up here, so that's going to be our next segment. So I hope y'all are looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Do we have two kinds of plans? Hey, welcome, Rolls.
All right, can we give a nice round of applause? Eugene winning trophy. winner for 2025.
Let's
Ross
go.
Chastain. Good vibes here, you know. We've already smashed one watermelon this weekend, and we're gonna smash another one tonight.
How do you pick the absolute perfect sweetest watermelon in public?
Well,
You don't. You get it when Dixie.
after when Dixie buys it from Melon One.
There you
There you are.
Yep. So our family is harvesting up in Delaware and Maryland right now. Would be probably where they're coming from for this area. Is where our season is. We're also harvesting out in Indiana, Kentucky, and Missouri. Those stay a little further west. So yeah, it's. I look for yellow on the bottom. I look for them to be heavy. They're 92% water, and then symmetrical. They're just end to end. I want the stripes to all go the same way. If I see a big swirl mark, I don't want that one. And not to be like come to a cone shape on one end. I don't want that either. So yellow, heavy, and symmetrical is kind of what I.
Thank you.
Good insight.
And then it's a Melon One label.
Hi. How was it when you won in 2019 Xfinity? I was there at that race, and you seem excited. How did it feel for you?
It was incredible. That was, yeah, you got to remember, if you remember back, I started in the Truck Series in 2011. I didn't win until 2018 in the Xfinity Series out in Las Vegas, but I started the Truck Series so long before. So Daytona was one that we always came to as kids. I can just remember, I don't even remember my first race. I was young enough that it just all blurs together in my memories. There's like pictures, but I can't remember it. And then we always came to this one because we had watermelon plants in the ground in February. Our growing season is January to really we end our harvest Memorial Day weekend kind of. So this summer race feels like what I remember as a kid. And to win that race, I remember coming to the Xfinity races. I remember back then they were the Busch Series, which is just what I remember coming to. We had a rain delay that night, which is, I remember every summer race being rain delayed, which is just part of it. And I had a ton of family here. I was only running a part-time schedule that year in the Xfinity Series, so we were able to win, which was an incredible accomplishment. So I had some grandparents here, I had a lot of cousins, and a whole lot of watermelon. They busted them everywhere. And that ultimately was part of what got me the full-time opportunity the next year, is that I was able to win for college racing. That was their first win in anything in NASCAR. And now you look at where they went to, they've won cup races, and now they're going to go into the Truck Series. So yeah, it's definitely something that was a big deal. And I'm not even saying that because I'm standing here with the shirt and hat on and why we're in the suite, but I drank Busch Light then.
Full circle, baby.
I will be honest though, I had to run the cup race the next day, so I had to wait 24 hours basically to drink. And so that was back then when I was winning or anytime I win truck or Xfinity races, I've had a cup race after, so I've never been able to celebrate.
Well, we will tonight.
It's a little different after a cup race, I gotta tell you.
Watch out. Watch out. We will tonight.
Ross, so what's the difference between setting up for a race middle of August and setting up for 500 in February?
Yep. For me, not a lot. When we're coming here for February 1, it's one of our first races after the Clash, which is a very short race. In February, this is our first 500-mile race, so I kind of treat it the same way. But for here, it's a lot of sauna. It's time in our sauna, so we're trying to raise the temperature in there to upwards of, if it gets close to 100 degrees Celsius in it, that's over 200 degrees Fahrenheit of air temperature, and then we're dumping water on the hot rocks, trying to get I want it to feel like this, but even hotter. The humidity, right, the windows in it are just dripping with condensation. We're just trying to stress our bodies because even tonight, though it's at nighttime, the air is going to be so hot from the other cars. The air is just hot and high humidity in general. So even though we're cooling the air some, it's still going to be hot air blowing on us. I'm going to sweat a lot tonight, so we try to prepare that way. Car-wise, very small changes. In the 500, we know we've got to go long distances on the tires, same as tonight. We're trying to make them, like, we want them to qualify good. If we don't qualify, we want them to be fast by themselves, but they've got to handle good. So my team, we just try to make them drive good, which we normally don't qualify well then, but that should make us good to race and like be in the pack, because usually the cars that win here have the oldest tires and the least amount of fuel left in the tank at the end of the race. Yeah. So you need to be able to be up there with old tires.
All right, so that was Ross Chastain for you. I hope y'all liked that little segment. We threw a really good question in there to show how his career has been established, how it is today. Literally winning here at Daytona in 2019, the Xfinity Series. So that was cool interaction there. Nice to run into him again. He commented about this, and we talked a little Chicago, but it was fun. So he also mentioned how Colleague Racing announced that they're going to have a Ram truck team next year. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that. And the other thing is Connor Zilic is replacing Daniel Suarez officially. No car number, but he will be running for sure. So very well hidden secret too, just like the NASCAR 25 cover. Before we get into the next segment, we're going to try these Gator Bites.
It should, yes, I think so.
These are great. We're going to move into our next segment, and one of my very own members from Tristan's pack will be introducing a topic into this video, which is involving this race. So I'm going to let him take this one away.
Hello everyone, I'm Zach. I also go by the synonyms of Zach and Zachi in many other circles. I have been a long-time close friend of Tristan for many years and I'm a long-time NASCAR fan. I'm also an upcoming iRacing spotter / crew chief for the T-Man himself. I'm also a semi-no paint scheme designer for the NASCAR Racing 2003 season game going by the moniker of One Tough Customer. Should Daytona remain the regular season finale? I'm strong against the idea. Maybe call me a bit old-fashioned, but it should really go back to the Independence Day weekend since Daytona is known as the Great American Racetrack. Also, the Daytona 500 earlier in the season is also called the Great American Race. Also, secondly, I'm severely against bubble drivers trying to become into the playoffs, potentially having their lie in the fate of their entire season, all because they were involved in a wreck that was caused by somebody else. Also, weather in Florida around August is when it really starts to get really unpredictable. Hurricane season also really starts to pick up in August into September. Plus the Florida rainy season also starts to pick up around this time as well. So what track should be the regular season finale? Darlington. Darlington is literally called a track that's too tough to tame. Darlington has such a fierce and gruesome reputation that even the best racers have a hard time mastering it. With Darlington being the regular season finale, bubble teams with the most perfect night would hopefully make the playoffs instead. So somebody's championship hopes will not be dashed solely on luck, but purely on the skill of the team. Back to you, T.
Alright, so you've heard from Zach from Tristan's pack himself bringing up the topic, should the Coke Zero Sugar 400 be the last race of the regular season? And for me personally, I prefer it being back in the 4th of July, and there's a lot of reasons. And you know, the first one is, it used to be a tradition back in the day, just being a night race during the 4th of July, and it was, you know, once known as the Firecracker 250. And now it's just known, honestly, for mass chaos at the end of the regular season, honestly, in the month of August. And it is mainly more entertainment, which NASCAR is going that way by all means. Whether you like it or not, Daytona's been away from this since 2020, since they've been racing the Midwest. And, you know, Daytona is Daytona, but at the same time, 4th of July meant a lot more to me back in the day, honestly. Living in Central Florida at the time, it felt like that weekend was just always a great time to come to Daytona, and I can't say I care as much about 4th of July now, about the weekend, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it felt like a family tradition back in the day, just get a hotel even, went to Xfinity races at night, and even Cup Series qualifying, and we don't really do that anymore. And the last thing I want to say is, this is a peak of hurricane season, and we recently just saw Hurricane Aaron pass about 200 miles away, and if there's a different weather pattern, you could see something else. So it could have happened, but thankfully it hasn't, but that does concern me. And also, if you haven't figured it out, I am more of a traditional type of guy, which I can accept change, but some things won't sit with me well, and this is honestly growing on me. I still feel the same, but I don't mind it, honestly. So what do you think about having the Coke Zero Sugar 400 now, the weekend before Labor Day?
Well, I get both sides. You know, I definitely see the tradition of the 4th of July, you know, but 4th of July to me is always going to be a family event, whether there's a race or not. selfishly, because Daytona's in my backyard, I really like the 6-month spread from the Daytona 500 and the Coke 400. So that's a nice spread for me. And I really enjoy the rubbing, the racing, the aggressiveness of it being the last race of the regular season. So to see that in the stands, you know, in my backyard, I really enjoy that. So I'm more of a fan of it being in August. I could accept it either way, and I do see both sides. But those are the 2 bullet points for me. It's definitely the 6-month spread of going to the track, and then the aggressiveness being the last race of the year, or last race of the regular season at least.
Yeah, there you have it. At the end, a good handful of Tristan's Pack members are going to be a part of a poll, and you'll get to see the results at the end here. So that's that segment. So thanks to Zach for introducing this one.
Either way, go Daytona.
Yes, sir. All right, so welcome to Fantasy Picks Land. Just like how we started at the start of the year, we got 2 people picking. And first, I want to talk about what drivers we ran out of before we get them all back next week. So for myself, I lost Byron first, and then after that, I ended up losing Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson, which was, I believe, at Indy in that race vlog, and then I lost Hamlin last weekend at Richmond. So what drivers did you lose?
I lost Larson first. First and foremost, I haven't had him for probably 4 weeks. And then a few weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago was Reddick, and then just last week lost Hamlin as well.
There you have it. So we're going to go through some picks here. We didn't have any qualifying. This didn't really change anything. I just moved the garage around, honestly. So just like earlier in the year, I do have Brad Keselowski. I am shocked that he's made it to the top 20 in points after his slump start of the year, and he's looked really good. If he can carry that momentum, it would be great. He does have to win, so I am relying on him getting some stage points, honestly. And then we have Kyle Busch, who's going to be in desperation mode. Also, we have Ryan Blaney starting first. I hope he can find a way to win this race. That would be very cool. He's won this before. Joey Logano returns to my lineup. He's been at all the pack races. That's the only time I've used him, and I expect to use him again tonight for obvious reasons, as he leads the most laps. We have Michael McDowell. He's won the Daytona 500 before. He's won races. He almost won last year until whatever happened at the end. He got taken out while leading with about 10 to go. And then I have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I haven't used him all season, but I think he has to be desperate, and we usually see him in the front when it matters. So if you want to go through yours, and then we'll go matchups.
Yeah, a couple bold moves there with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and McDowell.
All winners.
I don't see that. Could be wrong. I do like the Busch one though. I do not have Busch in my lineup. I get the desperation part of it, but I think he's been falling back every time he's pressured in. I think the more the pressure comes, the more he falls back. Unfortunately, that's not how he used to be. I think that's just how he is now. But I am on board with Team Penske. Did take out Logano. Logano definitely good at Daytona, but he has a thing where he falls back all the time, trying to produce that middle row. So, but I went with his brothers in arms. I definitely got Blaney, and I got Austin Cindric. I'm gonna make a bold statement right now. I really see the number 2 in the winner's circle if he decides to be a little aggressive today. I think he's definitely been holding back a little bit. And on top of that, I do have Alex Bowman and Brad Keselowski. And I do take that back with Busch. I did actually put him in my lineup at 14 because of his start pace. So, but I think he's going to wind up going in the garage because I think he's going to falter, and that will bring Christopher Bell up from the garage and replace Busch. So I think it's definitely going to be a Ford or a Chevy running in winner's circle. So what I go, 3 Fords, 2 Chevys, and Christopher Bell in the Toyota.
Bell had a chance to win the 500 earlier this year, and he ends up winning Atlanta, and he was leading laps at Talladega. So the last race at Atlanta, I think we all know what happened. So next we got matchups. These can go either way. So we have Austin against Chris Buescher. For me, it's going to be Chris Buescher. He's starting back after he had issues at Richmond, but I think that will be okay with me. And then my next one, Reddick against Bowman. I do like a Bowman a lot here. Reddick's gonna have to be desperate because if there's a new winner as mentioned, if the standings like stayed how they were minus new winner, he's out. And then I have Kyle Busch going up against Ryan Preece with Kyle Busch. Getting that one, he's in my lineup. And then same thing with here against Ty Gibbs with Brad Keselowski. I have Keselowski, so just a little consistent. And then what do you got?
Well, we matched 3 out of 4, so I'll skip to the ones we matched. So we got Alex Bowman for obvious reasons. He's good at this track. His starting position at 2 versus Tyler Reddick at 27. Especially always with Daytona with the big one. I feel like Reddick will get wrapped up in that. I don't think he'll be up front anytime soon, first stage or second stage. Definitely Kyle Busch for starting reasons, starting 14th versus Preece at 31, and the desperation as you alluded to earlier, like he needs to win, to get in. So we match there. Brad Keselowski definitely, he's definitely got the experience. He's a better drafter, better racer at a draft track than Ty Gibbs. Ty could surprise me. That was a hard one for me right there, but I definitely went with Brad. Now, the one that we don't agree on is Austin Dillon and Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher is really good at drafting tracks, so I do expect him to start to get up there, but I think the momentum from last week really goes with Austin Dillon, and he hedges over Chris Buescher.
He does start 7th, and he's won this race before on behalf of everybody crashing.
Well, like Daytona, there's always a wreck, and so we'll see who comes out of it, and that could shake it all up. So
we'll show y'all little driver intros, and then by the time after that, it will be race time, and it's been a beautiful day, honestly, so far. So let's go.
Let's go racing.
And then you got topping.
Please give a big tonight he is here to sing the way out. Drivers, start your engines!
Oh, he blew a tire.
Hit selection has started the rear of the field. comes out, and now that work on pit lane.
Well, y'all saw it. First red flag of the day, and Bubba Wallace kept throwing blocks upon blocks. Eventually 22 had enough of it after throwing 2 blocks at Blaney. Took him out and a lot of others, so it is what it is. I would have did it too if you got blocked that many times as an organization. So we're gonna go get some food while this red flag occurs, and we're gonna try to relax because I'm not relaxed right now.
Normally, I think it's 4.
Fans here for their first race. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Down pit road. Goodyear Eagles on that race car. Cars begin to come in as well. Goodyear Eagles The driver of the one machine, he's in the playoffs. Alex Bowman is cheering for Ross Chastain. Chastain is in by virtue of a victory. The battle continues here in Daytona. Cannot believe the intensity. Stage number 2 is Chase Briscoe, his teammate Christopher Bell, the Fords go to the outside,
Races into turn number 3 at full throttle. Here is Kyle Larson jumping to the inside of his Hendrick Motorsports teammate and William Byron. And Larson by a comfortable lead in the last corner. Kyle Larson won the first stage earlier tonight. He's 7 laps away.
fantasy update. When that big wreck happened, I ended up putting Stenhouse in the lineup for Busch, and then Busch came on the track, so I switched him. So something little, same lineup as what we started with.
Toyota's battling for the race lead here at Daytona. Nemechek on the bottom side of the racetrack with Eric Jones stacked up right behind him. On the top side, off the corner they come. John Hunter Nemechek trying to lead tonight at Daytona. Nemechek and Bell could be in a battle for the lead. This time in turn 3, though, Nemechek gets shoved out to the top spot, courtesy of Eric Jones. So now it's Jones and Bell for second. Patient and ride that outside lane coming back to the track.
Now we're gonna get a yellow. Dillon and Logano, 1-2 single file, side by side for third. That's Jones. Eric Jones just gave Joey Logano the heat hole at the end of that straightaway there. Now Larson jumps in. He goes down to the bottom right behind Jones. 5 of the top 6 currently have won races here at Daytona. To the lead here. This is a lead change at this one.
I need Joey Bush against stay back.
Let's see here. We'll see if he can make it all the way back around. Meanwhile, up front, Eric Jones to the point. But things are getting more aggressive and the blocks are getting bigger. Turn 3 is turn 2. He is going backwards. He's got no drafting help. It's Prieston. 5 laps to go to find out that down the line, there'll be 3 laps to go here in Daytona. Nobody gets an advantage coming out of turn number 4. Now Kyle Larson's
So it looked like one Team Penske driver was going to win today, and Joey Logano, until he unfortunately got himself aero loose and spun out. But instead, Ryan Blaney ends up coming out from the blue after hanging around in the back for most of the race after he lost the lead, and he ends up winning in a 4-wide photo finish. It looked like Cole Custer was going to actually get a win without crashing a lot of cars like he did at Daytona earlier this year, but they stayed pretty clean, and he did end up going spinning with Chris Buescher after it seemed Ty Gibbs went full gas after the start finish. So I don't got too much to say. It was a great time at the house. I'll give you my final thoughts, and nothing changed with the playoff grid. We have our 16 drivers, which we'll go over soon, and no, I'm not going to jail. Hi. Hello. Well, I gotta let you out. Come on, Bodie. I can't let you out if you don't. Bodie, I can't. Bodie, I can't let you out if you don't move. Bodie.
Just open it.
Bodie. Or just put your nose through it.
Cash wants to come see you.
Oh, wow. Alright, hello everybody. It is about maybe 1:30 in the morning. Don't mind me sitting on the floor. We're gonna get into my final thoughts, but first I was gonna show a couple things off. I got this in the suite after, a whole die cast of pretty much the race sponsor for this year, so this is pretty sick. We're gonna talk about the race that Ryan Blaney ended up winning. So he ended up starting first and he was leading, and then we saw Casey Mears blow a tire, and then just, we then saw Tyler Reddick get cut off by Todd Gilliland, and I was really concerned for him because I thought he would have went from championship 4 and last year's regular season champion to not making it, but they were able to fix the car up. And then the big one happened when Bubba Wallace just kept on throwing wild blocks. They just kept getting wilder and wilder, and the third time he ended up getting spun off the nose of the 22 and took out a bunch of race cars, unfortunately. I lost a handful there in fantasy. I was happy Kyle Busch got on the track to get me some points, at least a few more. And then I would say things were pretty calm in stage 1, and then once stage 2 happened, it ramped up. So a lot of problems, whether it was engines, tires, electrical, all sorts of stuff that just took other drivers out of contention one by one, which also included damage. And then we get into stage 3, we see more of that, and then we see the 22 find his way up to the front. It looks like he's going to be able to do his thing, and then what I saw was in turn 4, he went a little high on the track, and I think he was trying to anticipate Jones being higher, and he did overcorrect in turn 4. It's the easiest thing to do. I've seen Dale Jr. do it, and he ends up spinning and then goes off the nose of Chris Buescher. And then this is the big controversy of the race, where he ends up in the grass and he spins out, and people say he's did it intentionally. I'm going to be honest here. I know the tire was down. I know the next gen acts a little crazy when that happens, but NASCAR threw the caution not even a second after he went into the grass. It's not like he was out of control. So I'll let the telemetry answer that. I don't really have more to say, but I would have not have thrown the caution that early. If I was him, I probably would have went to get a caution though, but I think the caution was already out essentially. I didn't think the grass would be too wet, but that ends up setting up some craziness, and Ryan Blaney on the last lap went from 13th to 1st. Well, in 2 laps, but you get my point. So he just came out of nowhere. We just saw a lot of new players just, coming in and out, and he takes advantage of Justin Haley and Cole Custer making contact, and he ends up winning in a 4-wide photo finish. So there you have it. It helps him get some playoff bonus points. We saw Larson and Chastain get one as well. And then for our playoffs, I'll display what it currently looks like as we go into Darlington. We do have Larson and Byron tied up right now. And then for our 4 drivers who will be looking in right now on the outside, we have Josh Berry, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, and Alex Bowman. Ross Chastain and Joey Logano are currently 1 point to the good. So we didn't see that playoff picture change too much. Just probably the difference of Chastain being in and out right now, and Larson not being second, essentially. And then Ryan Blaney ended up getting into the top 4. So just the little things like that have helped their chances going into these playoffs, you can say. So no surprise winners. And yeah, I don't really got too much more to say about that. I thought NASCAR did a decent job with the officiating compared to Xfinity Series. And other than that, I will be doing a playoff bracket prediction video. We'll attach my thoughts since the in-season challenge ended, which will be post-Indianapolis. Up until this point, we'll combine that in. Not sure how I'll do it. After I get that playoff bracket video out, we're going to do a video on Connor Zilic, who's heading to Trackhouse in the Cup Series next year on a full-time basis. We'll look into some things. We'll put out some interesting questions, and I'll give you all my thoughts. So we have a lot of really good NASCAR content coming, and then my next race will be in St. Louis in 2 weeks. So we're really just going to miss out on not going to Darlington. That wasn't even planned anyways. So that's going to be it. I hope you ended up enjoying this race vlog. It was up there as probably my favorite race of the year if it wasn't Talladega. So that'll be it from me. It's been fun being back in Florida, and unfortunately I leave in a couple days, but we're gonna just keep soaking in and enjoying it. So other than that, God bless everybody, and I hope to see y'all soon. Take care.